Good morning, Warriors. I'm Kate.
And I'm Lainey. Today is Friday, April 25th.
And this is the Warrior View.
Coming up today, we have the National Day, the Ice Bucket Challenge, an interview with a National Guard member, and the weather.
So let's get into it.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's time for the end of the school year countdown. Seniors, we only have 14 days left.
Everybody else, I'm sorry, but you have 20 days left to suffer.
I'm excited.
I'm so done.
We're getting down. We got 14 school days. I'm so excited.
Yes. To start, our last 2 weeks, we'll do the National Day. The National Day today is National Bucket List Day.
I've made bucket lists, but I'm not actually good at finishing them.
Okay, but that's so fair, but honestly, do you have anything on your bucket list that you want to do?
I mean, I want to go to as many countries as I possibly can.
Oh, that's real.
What do you have?
I really want to go to Iceland.
That's a really good bucket list.
Yeah. The USC Mind is spreading mental health awareness with the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Our very own Mr. Dorr was nominated. Let's check it out.
My name is Riley Ralston, and I was nominated for the USC Ice Bucket Challenge. I was nominated by Sophia Bauk and Evelyn Campbell. I am nominating Nathan Thayer, McKenna Roethlisberger, and Aaron Dorr. You have 24 hours.
I'm Mr. Dorr. I was nominated by Riley Ralston for the USC Ice Bucket Challenge, and I am now also challenging all staff members to do the same. You've got 24 hours, and any student who's already done it, send us your video to CHSD student broadcast at chsd.us.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You gotta come closer.
I don't know how it looked like, so I don't know what to comment on it.
I hope he was cold.
I hope Mr.
I hope he was cold.
Yes. We have an interview with the National Guard, Sergeant Stanley.
This is Randall.
And this is Serenity, and today we have Sergeant Stanley with us. We're just going to ask him a couple questions about, what it's like.
What are the physical requirements for your branch?
So we have what's called the ACFT, right? Army Combat Fitness Test. It is 6 events. And you have to, there's different male and female standards, but you have to be able to do a deadlift. You have to do what's called a overhead ball throw, where you take a 10-pound medicine ball, throw it over your head. An event called the sprint drag carry, hand release push-ups, a plank, and a 2-mile run. And then based on that, you'll have a score, and then that will help you, they'll score you against your peers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is there a common weight for the deadlift?
So I know my max is 340. You have to do 340 3 times. I think the minimum for me is 180. I think the maximum for females is 220, and the minimum is 140. So.
All right.
What is boot camp like?
So with the Army, it's not called boot camp, right? I'm not sure if Marines still call it boot camp, but we call it basic training, right? So the training itself is 9 weeks long. It's broken down into 3 phases. You have red phase, right? Which is called the hardening phase. The hardening phase is basically just to stress you out and get you into the point where you can overcome obstacles, right? So during red phase, that first 3 weeks, you're not going to be able to do anything right? They're going to teach you how to tie your boots. And they're going to say, hey, tie your boots. You're going to tie your boots exactly the way that they showed you. And then you're going to stand there okay, cool, we're good. I just finished this. Drill sergeant's going to come up and say, hey, you tied your boots wrong. Do 10 push-ups. You're going to do 10 push-ups. You're going to stand back up. You're going to be flustered because you're going to be like, what is going on? I tied my boots right. I don't know what's going on. Why is it wrong? And they're going to say, hey, correct your boots. Now you're looking at your boots. You're flustered. You don't know what's going on. You're going to do another 10 push-ups. You're going to do that 3 or 4 times, and then all of a sudden they're going to say, all right, we're going to the next thing, and they're just going to completely leave the boot thing alone, right? And they're going to do that to you for the next 3 weeks to kind of get your mind used to not meeting a certain goal, and then being able, when you don't meet it, able to push through, right?
Yeah.
That's how you build that mental resilience, right? So after red phase, you go into white phase, which is going to be the individual soldier phase, right? So now you've learned that mental resiliency. Now they're going to teach you all the individual skills that it takes to be a soldier, right? Medical, how to communicate. They're going to teach you on a lot of different equipment, how to shoot a machine gun, how to take apart a rifle, how to handle a rifle safely, how to clean a rifle, how to use communication equipment, all these things, right? Everything that it takes to be a soldier, you're going to learn in that next 3 weeks. Then the final 3 weeks is called blue phase. In that final 3 weeks, you're going to learn team building, right? You're going to start off with small teams. You're going to go a 4-man group, 8, 10, 12, up to 20, up to 100 people, right? And then they're going to say at the very end, they're going to go, hey, we're going to go do this mission, right? And they're going to show you this huge mission. And now all of a sudden, all your guys' brains are going to jump back to day one when you couldn't tie your boots, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to look at this and be like, there's no possible way that we could ever complete this. It's impossible. But you're going to learn working as a team, and every single team breaking off and doing their individual thing that they need to do to this overall mission. At the end, you're gonna complete this mission and look at it and go, oh, wow. And that's basic training, right? That's when you go from an individual to a member of a team, and that's how you get there. That's the whole process.
Pretty cool. What made you specifically want to join the National Guard?
So I started off in the Army, and the reason that I joined the Army is we were in wartime, and I just didn't think personally that I was going to let anyone else go and do the things and meet and not put my, not do it for myself, right? Like I wasn't going to allow others go overseas and go fight the fight and me just sit at home. I just couldn't be built like that. But now I've decided that coming to the Guard after my time in active duty, it's just nice to be able to pursue other jobs, right? I can still pursue other things in my life that I wasn't able to do active duty. I can be home. I can see family. I can spend my time in Michigan. So,
Well, that's
why I
very
joined the
noble
Guard.
of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any advice for anyone interested in the National Guard?
Any advice for anyone interested in the military at all? Just get out and talk to a recruiter, right? Talk to all the recruiters. Talk to all the branches. Talking to recruiters, signing your initial documents, things like that, does not mean that you're going to be in the Guard or in the Marine Corps or anything like that, right? It's a huge process, and I know a lot of people think the moment you talk to a recruiter and the moment they give you your phone and you sign a document of something, you're in, right? Couldn't be more from the truth. There's people that it takes a month to get in, and there's people that take a year and a half. Even in my case, it took me 2 years to get in. So
Wow.
even if you have a little bit of a thought that you may want to do it, or you're worried about something that you think you might medically disqualify you or something, just go and talk to a recruiter, because you don't know until you do, right? So that'd be my advice.
What would a typical weekend look like for a National Guard member?
So a typical drill weekend for a National Guard soldier is, you show up to your first formation, whether that's 8 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday. You show up, you check in, make sure everyone's there, make sure everyone has the right equipment, stuff like that. And then, let's say it's one of those training weekends where you go off to Grayling and you qualify on your rifle, or you qualify on a pistol, or you qualify on a machine gun, whatever it is that your job requires, right? You grab all your gear, you get on a nice coach bus, you drive up from, let's say you were at the Big Rapids Armory, you get on a coach bus, you drive up to Grayling, they drop you off, you log into your barracks, so you bring all your stuff, you put everything in the barracks, you guys get set, maybe you guys have lunch, and then you get on another a Humvee or another vehicle, and you go to the range, you shoot, you qualify, you learn how to do that, then you come back to the barracks, maybe you'll clean your rifle, whatever it is, and then the next day you'll wake up, you'll eat breakfast, maybe you'll have some other tasks, like maybe you guys will do driver's training, you'll learn to drive out a Humvee or teach other people to drive a Humvee. Do that for a couple hours, and then usually by noon or 1 o'clock you have to start heading back home. So you'll get back on the coach bus, drive back to your local armory, wherever it is that you work, and then you'll turn all your equipment in, and then usually by 5 or 6 o'clock, you are leaving drill and you're going home. So that's usually how a weekend works. Now there are different. Sometimes you go to Grayling and train, and sometimes you just stay at your armory and you clean, or you work on vehicles or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Just depends.
All right.
What like range of activities then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it
Mhm.
also just depends on your job, right? So if you work on helicopters, you'll probably end up flying around on a Saturday, right? It just really depends. It breaks down to what your job and where your armory is that you work out of. So
What is your favorite part about doing this, just altogether in general?
about the military in general,
Yeah.
okay, let's say I will say my favorite thing is, you guys ever heard of Not My Circus, Not My Monkeys?
Yes. My
Okay.
uncle told me all about it.
Okay, so my favorite thing about the military is the people, right? Um, sometimes the job itself is lackluster or annoying, right? Frustrating. But truly, you meet some of the best people imaginable. And honestly, I don't have any friends outside of the military. All my friends are in some sort of military organization, whether they're in the Marines, the Coast Guard, something like that. So it's kind of strange, actually. Like, even guys that I meet outside of work or outside of the military, the people that I end up connecting with are always prior service Marines or Air Force or whatever it is. So you just meet really good people, and you create really
Awesome.
or really strong bonds with people. So
It's awesome.
yeah,
It's like the military just clicks with each other.
yeah, yeah. Uh, we have a saying in the infantry: it's trauma bonding.
Yeah.
You sleep in a hole with somebody when it's 30 degrees out, and you become really close.
Yeah. Both
So,
physically and mentally, I suppose.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Well, again, this was Serenity
Randall.
and Sergeant Stanley. Thank you for joining us, Chippewa Hills, and thank you, Sergeant Stanley, for
You're
coming
welcome.
in.
No problem.
It is the end of the school week, and the weekend is just around the corner. Let's go to your weekend weather.
You know who did it?
Yeah. Hi, this is Zoe.
And this is Serenity.
And this is your Warrior Weekend weather. Today it's a high of 71 and sunny.
On Saturday, there's going to be a high of 56, and it's going to be partially cloudy.
And on Sunday it's going to be a high of 64 and partially cloudy. Have a good day, Warriors.
See you later.
Thanks. That is all we have for you today. This has been Lainey
And Kate, with your Warrior View. Have a great weekend, Chip Hills.